G'day and welcome to some motorbike testing. Largely because this thing is terrible. I've been getting a few good and some interesting ideas about how I might be able to improve this thing. One of the things that I want to do, first off, that I think will help quite a bit is if I just flip this upside down so that I can actually place it. If I get rid of this wheel from that side and then add it instead from this side. Having the wheels opposing each other, at least from what I've previously tested, does make a difference and does make it work a little bit better. But we'll see how much of a difference it makes, because I don't think it's going to be enough. The main issue with the 5x5 wheels is that you keep colliding these suspensions. So the angle, as I showed in the Survival Impossible video, that you can actually lean over is pretty minimal. And you need to stay level not to gravity but to the terrain, so constantly having to fight your gyroscope is not ideal. And this is a lot less balanced than when I've previously tried this design. I think it might have something to do with the fact that I put the rear wheel too high up. I shouldn't maybe have done that. But even with just a little bit of adjustment, this isn't too bad at low speed, but it is just so easy to end up smacking the suspensions into the ground. So I kind of need a better design. One design that I do have that I was tempted to do in Survival Impossible was my twin stick shooter style with the unicycle design. Whoops. Because the unicycle actually moves around pretty well. And you've got a lot more freedom of how you can do things with it. I think I might need to set this suspension up a little stronger. There we go. So this thing can actually get around pretty well. And because it's got such a small wheelbase, because it is one wheel, it's a lot easier to keep matched to the terrain pitch. So I don't have to keep adjusting quite so much as I do with the two-wheel design. But the challenge with this is making something like this that would work that actually has a cockpit so that I don't have to worry so much about my suffocation issues is going to be a bit, well, a bit difficult. Yeah, and it probably would work well with an open cockpit instead of the remote and seat style. Probably even work better than the original because you can just hop in and go. The other downside of this is this thing uses reactors to get enough power. It doesn't really work with batteries. They're too big. Yes, the guns are integral to the twin stick shooter. they are some of the only attachment points through things. That was how I managed to get this thing to be such a compact design. And super fun. But we're here to fix this design. That's my issue. Because I do want to have a full cockpit, a hydrogen engine, a battery, because this thing needs to keep me alive when I'm out and about. And I do want to see if there's a way I can make this function with the motorbike kind of layout. It'd really be nice. Yeah, Jackson, I did say that. I did say, no, the guns are structural. I believe, I can't remember even who was questioning me on that. So, first thought is maybe a couple of 1x1 wheel suspensions out here, so that instead of smacking into the ground, wheels will smack into the ground. So let's test that out and see if that works. This is the simplest update. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was text. Thanks, Hyson. Tex is trying to get the blueprint for the guns from it. Because we were playing with grind to learn. Now we want friction off. Okay, let's copy and paste this just in case, you know, me happens. Let's see what driving this around does. Oh. Problem already. Need to turn propulsion off. This actually works pretty well so far. Look at that. Well, this could be a very simple solution. They're kind of like the most epic version of Oggy knobs, if you've ever ridden a motorbike and decided you wanted to protect the fairings. I know what those are. Basically little plastic things that stick out. Yes, Sajin, it's a short stream. I've already fixed it. Yes, Eisen, I saw your complaint about the overuse of gyros, but in a vehicle like this, there is kind of no option. That's how it's supposed to work. So I can slide around on these just fine. Alright. We have a backup plan that doesn't involve me turning the thing into a rover, and actually, to be honest, this thing is probably more robust to my driving than a four-wheeled rover. Ooh. Oh yeah, I've got Omicron in this save. Okay, here we go. How's this gonna go? Will air shocks save me? Nope. Oh, the reason I'm not testing the designs on Omicron straight away is because Omicron's a bit of a pain to fly your jetpack around, so rather than have to deal with that while I'm building, I thought it would be better... Where on earth did I build my stuff? Over here. It'd be better to test, get a build that works on Earth, and then I can spawn in an Omicron and we'll test over there. Yes, colour. Gravity 1, me 0. Okay. Cool. That's an ugly but workable solution. Now I just have to figure out how to make it look pretty, because it looks terrible. I really don't like this design, and I was really dumb putting this higher at the front. It was... Ugh. It looks... I just don't like it at all. Where's my little book of things that people suggested? I wrote them down. So, other things. Oh, yeah. Alright. So I hate the front end. Let's replace the front end. If I get rid of that bit. Scala, I don't actually I kind of don't like the engine on the front of the nose. I feel like it makes it too long for the shape. Like sticking the hydrogen engine on there does fit the shape, right? But what I don't like about it is the shape of the cockpit glass going into then something that's a long nose. It feels like it should either go as a steeper angle or continue at that slight slope. So I've never really liked that styling. But that's just me being me. Get on there so I can build stuff. There we go. This was possibly one of the slowest ways I could have done this. I just wanted to be able to get this elevated off the ground so I can try a rotor wheel on the front and see how well that survives. In front of the suspension. I suppose it That's actually a good point. I don't have to have it out sticking out the side here. I could have the 1x1s sticking off there instead, because they stick lower. The advantage of having them further out is I keep that lean angle a bit better, I think, because this will stick down so low that it'll kind of keep it quite flat. Right. So for a rotor wheel, let's just pop that. And one of them, and then the rotor. Wheel. I want a 3x3. Like so. Then we turn off the rotor. I copy this whole thing because I should have made this grid smaller. Then we can pop it off. And I just want to see how easily destroyed the rotor mounted wheel is, because I'm pretty sure they're kind of weak. Yeah, so the wheels, all that is really a round block. You can't control any settings whatsoever on that wheel that's on the front. I don't think even Build Vision brings anything up, because there's no control panel settings for this wheel. It is literally just a round armor block. And yeah, Phantomorphia, I'm in Oz. So this becomes very much a gyro steer only vehicle. I suppose what I could do, and what I'm interested to try... Yep, there it goes. Not much resistance to stuff. So I think what I'd need to do is build the is use a rotor torsion script to give it some degree of suspension, so there's at least a little bit. The second suspension on the back has two functions. One, yes, aesthetics, because it gives it balance, but also physics, because it gives it weight balance. It's the easiest way to make sure that the weight on both sides is equal, therefore you need less gyro to keep it upright. And because you do have to use gyro steer, it's nicer to keep it upright if you can. So if I want to go with a rotor torsion style thing, I'm going to need to have a rotor sticking out somewhere like here. Oh wait, I probably didn't want to get rid of that block. So it would be better if it's stuck out a bit further, otherwise it's going to clang against the vehicle. And that's going to make it a bit broader, but what you going to do? This is a test. So then it'll be sticking out to there. Then we can put another rotor on here. Oh yeah, XSFX, I'm getting to that style of thing. Don't worry. I've got plenty of plans here to test out. Pilot Guy, I've tested that previously, where you have a left on the front and then you'd kind of do an S bend around to the right on the left on the back, right on the front, and it didn't balance as well as having it actually balanced, because it's not perfectly balanced around the center of mass. Whoops, that's not going to help. Too fat. Too fat. Maybe I'll try the 3s. Why did I get rid of the other one when I got to that? That's just silly. Okay, and programmable block. Now, it's been a while since I set this up. Hang on. I need to name this rotor so I know which one it is. There we go. Edit. Browse scripts. Yeah, the hydrogen engine, because I'm in proper creative mode, is just going to keep on running until I turn it, unless I turn it off. I probably should turn it off. Rotor torsion spring. Right, spring in the custom data of the rotor. Spring. Rotor not found. Was it lowercase s? Maybe it was. Oh, it is lowercase s. My bad. Dang cake sensitivity. Okay. That's sort of working, I guess. Now I just need to set the strength. Default spring constant. I think that's 10 kilonewtons. Let's up that. Let's say here. Anyone remember how to use this thing? Oh, default base torque. Here we go. Seems to still be doing the same thing. Yeah, that's a fair point, Sajin. Nope. It did not help. I might... Honestly, I could probably create a reasonable spring if I just set the rotor strength up. Well, its target angle should be... Like, for this rotor, it should be, like... maybe I'll put it a little bit lower than what it's set to. Maybe I'll put that at minus 20. Nope. Let's see if this works. Doesn't seem to be. What have I done? I think I broke. I think I went outside the bounds of what I can do. So it's meant to be edited in the thingy, is it? Custom data. It's been so long since I've used this script. I've set it up a couple of times in the distant past. Now I brokered it. Why are you not liking me now? Okay. The script doesn't like passing across 0. Right. So, simple solution to that. Lower limit. Upper limit will be... This could explode if I do this, but minus 10? No. And upper limit of... There we go. Maybe the script will be happier now. Or not. No. Alright. Scratch the script idea. That's just making life harder than it needs to be, I think. When we can test this another way. Rotor. Let's go with 5. Okay, 45. What? Current angle is 0. Okay, I want to just see if I can find a strength where it's going to sit up a little bit. Alright, let's just try this. Oh, I didn't turn that rotor off. There we go, now the free wheel. Whoops. Okay, you forgot about the gyros. They can overpower the the rotor. Yeah. I think there's our proof that the rotor-mounted wheels are not going to be a viable option here. You don't have to go very fast and they explode much more easily than the suspension-mounted ones, even though I'm the person who has had all sorts of problems with suspension-mounted wheels popping. I think we need to stick with a solution that uses proper suspensions. These don't work. It does make a good plow. Yes, you're right, Scala. It does make a good plow. Okay, so I have the option of using the 1x1s as the outer wheels, like skids to make it safe. The other option I was interested in attempting was a front-mounted skid wheel. So something like, I think we have to go 3x3s. That. With 0 friction. So propulsion off. Where's my friction? Friction off. Something like this. Which obviously requires 100% gyro steer because it's on the hover thing, the vanilla hover style setup. Whee! Okay, this is a... This could possibly be, from a style point of view, a more fun way of doing this. I don't think there's an attach and detach with wheels. It's just the add wheel button. I think there used to be an attach detach, but they got rid of that and just have the add wheel button instead, so that you couldn't do the 5x5 on a 3x3 suspension thing. This gets up to a decent clip too. To outrun the... Well, to outrun the drones I need to go very quick, but I'm not really going to be able to outrun them. What I really need to be able to outrun is the cargo ships. And the cargo ships, I've got them set to travel at 30 meters a second. Oh. Oh dear. I'm so going over the edge. Okay, here's a problem with this design though. Unless I have friction controls in my hotbar, slowing down is challenging. The other option with this sort of setup would be to do a trike style design with three... So we put 2 large drive wheels and then have 1 skid wheel. DE, you know better than to tell me to press P. P is bad. Whee! So much over gyro on this. Oh. Well, that survived better than the other one. Yep, Eisen, there's the flipsy. Oh. Okay, I definitely want those skids. This kind of works. Works until I do that. Alright. So that's the other issue I want to fix with this design, is the wheelbase is too long. Oh, that was the thing. So if I was going to go the trike design, what I was going to do was basically make a make it goofy styled. So 2 front wheels mounted like they are for the goofy, and then have the flat bottom one. Yeah, so if have I got a blueprint in front of the goofies? I don't think I do. I don't. Got many saves, but I don't have a blueprint. That's annoying. I don't really have a way to give it more height, Pilot Guy. The suspension clearance is as much height as you really get. Unless I push the suspensions under and drop them down, which doesn't really help the issues that I'm faced with, annoyingly. Maybe I'll try and see what I can do in terms of coming up with a decent design from an aesthetic point of view. So this is my core bit. That's the bit I don't want to have to grind down in Survival Impossible. The rest of it, I'm not too fussed if I have to throw away stuff. Well, here we go. This is what happens when you use slight friction wheels as your steering mechanism. No, don't! Oh, I shouldn't have dropped that from so high. This. So, what I've done with this is those 4 outer wheels, they have a teensy bit of friction, so if I tilt a little bit, I can kind of steer a little bit with this thing, but right now it doesn't want to let me tilt at all. I think I must have had like an azimuth gyro or something on this from the thing. No, this is a split Citron Templanot. Come on. The face is the giveaway. That's a snowboard. This was from Wasted's charity stream that I built this. Whee! Yeah, so I think I may have one vanilla gyro on here, but it is not enough for what I need. Still. Fun thing to drive. And so the steering, if you just use Q and E for roll control, you can actually steer with this thing a little bit. Which is possibly an option if I wanted to do that. Yes, the Tron survived better than my bike. I know. It shouldn't, but it does. Okay, on to more serious design. If I want to go goofy style, do I want to have the wheels right at the front? Like if I mounted a wheel there and another one directly opposite, is that going to be functional with, say, a 3x3 on the rear? Because at least this, if I go a trike design, is fitting theme-wise for the rest of the builds around the base. Which is what appeals to me about this. Yeah, if I end up in any of those little ravine bits, I'm probably in trouble regardless of what I do with this thing, to be honest. I suspect I don't think there's much I can do to make it so that I could survive that sort of mistake. Like, this could be an option. It's kind of cute. Let's give it a go. I do love the bouncing on that wheel. Friction. Maybe I put it up at 5 just to have a little bit. Propulsion off. Oops. Strength. That shaking is really off-putting. Yeah, Growlclaw, it is abandoning the thing. I just want to test if this is doable so that if I do get to the point where I consider I've failed with the motorbike, have I got an option that's a backup that I quite like? Okay. Huh. I see a problem with this design. What? Are the wheels doing that? Like, they appear to be steering the correct way, so they shouldn't be doing that. So, okay. Huh. Alright, let's try see if it's my friction on the rear that's causing the problem. Because if this is the case... Nope. It means that the opposite to the Robin Reliant is an issue in Space Engineers. Which is kind of weird. This is so bizarre. How is this I don't even understand why. Why? What? Okay. I'm glad I didn't decide to do this design in Survival Impossible properly. Oh man. I don't understand why it's struggling. But basically it means that you have, like, it works when you've got the single skid wheel at the front, like this one, but it doesn't work if you've got it at the rear. Oh, in fact, I haven't tested this. This was the other thing I needed to test quickly. I need to put this as a trike layout. So I'll just do this for now. On there, and another one on there. Let's see if it spins if the drive is on the rear. Whoops, I did not copy the correct one. No. Yeah, the weird thing, like, Tracker Joe, I think it is something like the wheel is rotating and then catching, but then this layout works just fine. Like, I'm not having to stabilize this, I'm right now just accelerating. In fact, I can prove that because I'm in the thing right now. Power, speed limit. So this is incredibly more stable. Which is weird, because as IE202 says, yes, you probably have seen this on Top Gear one time, but they were looking at the Robin Reliant, and the Robin Reliant has this wheel layout and tends to roll at the slightest thing. Oh wait, I had my gyro override on. Whoops. Okay, let's see now. The gyro override was on just before, so that was probably helping. But, nope. The toddler trike layout is what works for space engineers. Even if you hit trees. That's bizarre. I thought this was going to be the worst layout. I don't even know what's happening now. Whoops. Okay, so if we go with the trike layout, that's what I'm going to have to do. Let's just delete this so that I can find my way back. Entity list. There we go. So can I improve the aesthetics? That's the question. And what's better from an aesthetic point of view? Is this layout better? Having the floaty wheel at the front and putting a big drive wheel at the back? I suppose I could put... That would make it fatter, but I could try and put dual 5x5s at the back or double 3x3s. Although that does need an even number of spacing. Yeah, there's not a lot I can do to narrow this because of the size of the suspensions. Like, unless I change to 3x3 wheels, there's not a lot I can do around it. One of the things I was thinking of doing was instead going to 45-degree angle pieces. PhD, that's an interesting idea, the 2 skid wheels and a single drive wheel. That probably could work. But we know that 1 drive wheel works with 1 skid wheel, so if I'm going to stick with the motorbike idea, that's probably more the way to go. Let's just see what sort of spacing I need if I'm going to do this. In fact, I probably want to start this lower. So I'm thinking what I'll have a look at here is if there looks like there might be a nice way to make 3x3 wheels facing into each other. So you're kind of getting a double wheel, but they're close to each other, so it kind of just looks like a fat tire. Kind of like that. And then matching it to the other side. I have to leave a full block gap between them because otherwise it won't line up with the cockpit's odd numbers of blocks. And at least... Veritron, all skids and a thruster, I don't like my chances of piloting such a thing without blowing myself up. The lack of stopping power terrifies me, to be honest. So it'll be kind of like that. Joko, I didn't use mirror mode because I didn't think of it. Yeah. I don't like it. Like, I wouldn't mind it if they were right next to each other, but it won't let me. Yeah, DE, that's exactly right. If you're going to go the hovercraft from Escape from Mars style, you may as well just go something that flies. I mean, yes, you don't have to fight gravity, so there is a power save there, but I think in terms of power point, from the power perspective, you probably are still better off going with a wheel design. Here we go, Joko. That make you feel better? Alright, if I'm going to go 5x5s... maybe if instead of trying to make it long and slim, I instead go for something like this to bring it out quickly to the width that I need. I can always add some padding or something. How big do I need it again? I think I need it. Okay, yep, that's that much. Though I think I know why this is going to be a problem. Yeah. I am too close. Yeah, a couple of people did suggest a sidecar, Spizder. Spizder? One of those. I'm keeping that option in reserve. Oops, that's not right. That's what we need. So how to make that look any good? Because I reckon the way to do the 1x1s is something like this. Oh, well, let me place the wheel there. Fine. Maybe that even? Oh, I've got a 3x3, that'll be my problem. So I wonder if I can place the 1x1s there. Because that's going to fully protect the sides, but it's also going to give us a little bit of lean, but not too much. The other thing... yeah, you meaning starting up front somewhere like here, do you? So that the connections come in more towards the center of the vehicle. I think you're right. It's a fiddly... It's one of the things that's always an issue with space engineers, is trying to get the sort of angles that I want for this, which has now made me think of something else to try with this. Who says I can't use rotors even if I don't actually use them as suspension? Because then I can get the angles I want without having to worry about the fact that I don't have the blocks I need to get those angles. Yeah. This is the way to do it. So then I can do something like this. Well, let me place. If I can figure out, if I can get these rotors out to the correct width for the wheel mount. Oh, I'm so tempted. I'm just going to see. I'm just going to see. This is going to get stupid. I don't think I'm going to be able to design around what I've got in mind here, but I'm tempted just to see how badly it's going to go. Yeah, I will need the subgrid wheel control script, which does make control a little bit not as great. It's an awesome script, but that side of it is an issue. I'm just interested to see if I can... What I'm thinking is, if I have these rotors on here, and then I'll need dual rotors at the other end, won't I, to square it off? That's a problem, isn't it? I should probably stick at most to one set of rotors. Okay then, if that's the case, what I have as an option is this. This is what I'm thinking. So I'm going to do the rotor thing, but I'm going to start it at a more achievable point. At a point where I can actually get what I'm after, without having to go totally crazy and to a level that I think I'll probably just fail. So what's my width I need for the 5x5s? I need to come out 4 blocks from the main body. Yeah. Mouse aim rotor turret wheels. I'm not sure how that'd work. I think you might have more luck if you taunt wasted with that sort of concept. I don't think I've got quite the patience to try something that I feel like I'm going to fail on as long as he does. Wasted's a lot more willing to try stuff that he's pretty sure is not going to work. I give up. And then I just brute force it with some other method. Oops. Still getting used... So I got a new keyboard for Christmas, which you guys might be noticing because it's a whole lot quieter. So I'm thinking if I put the rotor in here... But the problem with the new keyboard is that despite having a similar layout to the other one, it's not quite the same. So I run into a problem where I think I know where a key is, but turns out I'm not quite right. Oh no, the other keyboard's still just fine. It is sitting on my desk. So maybe that to there. So this is kind of what my thinking is. Oh, whoops. That wasn't where I wanted that to get placed. I think you guys can kind of get an idea of what I was planning with this. Because I should be able to have my 5x5 mounted out here. Does it need to be mounted on? Oh, that's not right. It needs to be mounted lined up with that. Nuts. I didn't go quite far enough. No! I have to go one block further. Is that the block I need to build on? No, I need to do this. Oh, I've forgotten which block I need to build now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I need to go on that one. So once I put this in... Yep, that's the idea. I copy-paste the thing that I just dropped on the ground. Yeah, that's far... No, that's not far enough, is it? Is it? Oh, man. Oops. Is it there? Yeah, that is right. That is right. Good. So the idea will be I'll set up the rotors to the correct angle that I want them at, and then I'm just going to lock them. So any suspension comes from the wheel suspension, not from the rotors. This could be an issue. This may not like to place on here. Oh, there it goes. That doesn't feel right, does it? Well, that's about as centered as they get, isn't it? Oh, it's because of the rotor displacement that it's funny. Right. Dang. I sort of need to mount this on another rotor. I suppose I can bring it back in a little bit. I don't think there's too high a risk of clang from putting a second rotor in. It's just how am I going to make a second rotor look any good? That's what I'm worried about. Is that going to be better, or is that going to be better? That's going to be better. I'm already kind of liking this design a little bit more. And no, it's not just because it's got a rotor. Okay, it doesn't want to turn, and I reckon it's because I didn't, because I shrunk the displacement. Yep. Yeah. That one's not set out, is it? Displace it, and then pop that on so that I can at least get the mirrored look and see what this is going to look like, since now we're doing aesthetics as well. It's probably even more important now to have this weight balanced. If I don't, the subgrid, the fact that it's a subgrid will probably be a bigger issue because of the way that weight gets calculated for them. Let's drop you down. I should probably check the exact angles, but close enough is good enough for now. Oh. Right lock. Huh. You've got attach and detach with build vision. Maybe that's what was being talked about earlier when someone suggested that I might be able to get a 5x5 on a 3x3 suspension. Yeah, I'll have to give that a go. Let's just set this thing up and give it a test since I've been working on this for a little bit. I want propulsion off and I want friction 0. Same with you. Propulsion off and friction 0. It's almost tempting to build a matching set at the front. I'm not going to do it though. Oh, not that way around. That way. Whoops. Wrong wheel. Really need to look over there to the side so that I get the correct one. There we go. And propulsion off. Friction 0. And here we have it. That is going to need to have higher strength. Oh, and I'm also going to need a subgrid wheel control script. This thing is not handling quite as nicely. Honestly, the original design with the 1x1 wheels is the one that's been the most fun to drive around with so far. Did I copy paste this? I don't think I did. Oops. Oh, still in my clipboard at least. What? I didn't think I had any force on that. See ya! You were supposed to stop. Oh. Not like that. Not like that. Right. Well... this is why I'm not doing this in Survival Impossible. There are so many things here that I'm struggling to get my head around how to get them right. And it is driving me insane. The trike option works. The bike with the skid wheels, which is somewhere around here. Like the original bike with the skid wheels works pretty well too. But the original bike will need a full armor redesign because it's not quite there. As I think I called it that, yeah. Oh, thanks, Eisen. It's at the bottom of the cliff. That's a... right, it is too. Don't know. Don't know at all what to do. I'm just lost in terms of the armor design for this thing. There are so many blocks I feel I'd need to get this to look the way I want. Alright, so if I'm gonna go this design and I'm gonna put the skids on because it really did work well. But what I need to do is shorten the wheelbase. So I need to bring the 5x5 wheels closer into the cockpit. Codon, I could, but I don't feel like that suspension thing helped. Or in the end, actually ended up looking better. Really? Than just having the blocks pasted square on. I don't think the rotors helped. I think I am better going off with, as you say, go with function and then add nice, because the way I'm doing things, it's just not working out like I want it. What was I just thinking then? I want to try and get the wheels. Let's figure out where the wheels are going to look best, and then I'll start from there. Because I think what I'm doing wrong is I'm trying to get the armor design right when the wheels aren't even in the optimum position for looks. That's too low. Okay. XSFX? I have no idea what you mean by that conjunction of letters. How's it going to look if I do that? I need to copy this again so I've got a backup. Yeah, that's more the look I was looking. I didn't drop the back wheel enough. Oh. Tire, suspension, block, suspension, tire. Well, yeah, XSFX, what I'm trying to... Well, that would be a track design, and I'm trying to still see if I can pull off the... Yes, checksum looks like the look I was looking for. Me England good lately. I wonder if I could even get the rear wheel another block underneath. Oh wait, I will need it to be that high. Glad you like it, checksum. Okay, that might be a bit too much. But I suppose you gotta try to see how badly it'll go before you realize what you should do. I think this is probably about right, but potentially another block further back is actually... So I'm just going to keep trying this until I'm happy with where the wheels are, and then I can have a look at how to make this work better. Oops, that's the same as before. Then I'm probably going to have to do a grid cleanup at some point. What do you guys think about that one? See you, Scarla. Hope work's not too rough for you tomorrow. I think this looks right. I think this is the position I should be aiming for. Gives a little bit of that forward lean I was like aiming for before. So all I got to do now is oh yeah, XSFX. These bikes I always do with super stiff suspension. You don't get much benefit out of soft with these, from my experience. Now I have to figure out how to make it look good from above. Okay. So it's one block further back than that. So it's here. Cool. So if I leave these bits stuck out here, I can then scaffold and build with the wheels where they are, knowing that basically I can build and know where the wheels are before having to build the armor out for their support, because I've already got them supported somehow. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I've had quite a few people suggest that the leaning forwardness does remind them of the Akira bike. Is that a bad thing though? Okay. Okay. What if I do something a little bit totally different to what I was trying to do before? So instead of trying to blend the front to the front here, what if instead I kind of branch out a little bit and then bring another angle in? So doing it like this. Hand in wrong spot on keyboard. Pressing wrong buttons. Is that any better? I don't know. Challenge comes when I'm trying to link it into the rear of the thing. Not sure this is what I want to do. Well, Joko, what I was thinking of doing was continuing this straight in and then figuring out how on earth I'm going to get down to the lower one. So the lower one is why I was thinking of those rotors before. If I could bring the wheel into that position, I could then have a nice smooth band to it, but I had to go out so fat before them because I couldn't really, from the rotor mount point, have the angles that I was thinking of. Although maybe I could. Maybe this is the point where I try and get the rotor on. Dashiana, that's not a bad idea for trying to get the whole back end looking interesting. Sajin, Capac probably wouldn't build a teddy bear full of guts. He's not usually that dark. For someone that I jokingly call Eeyore all the time, he's actually quite the optimist. XSFX, the pistons don't really work as a suspension, unfortunately. So you can't really do that. And or are you thinking have the zero friction 1x1s mounted on a piston so I can get them exactly at the height I want? Is that what you were meaning? Just staring at this, trying to think of how I can get the angles I want. I suppose I could start with pixel art and then see if I can shape it. So this is what happens when I'm given too much time to think about, oh, I should have mirror on. Wheels and pistons can do okay, but you have to be careful about how you use them. They do tend to not work exactly as you imagine them in the real world, but that's just because Space Engineer's pistons don't compress like you imagine pistons do in the real world. And I think that's one of those areas where the difference between the physics simulation and physics real world is very much noticeable. Dragon PC, there is a motorbike wheel mod, but part of my drive for this thing was to do this vanilla. I wanted to just see if I could come up with a design that I was happy with, that looked good, that was also vanilla. So one of the things that makes designing this difficult is that the 5x5s don't have an attachment point on top. Yeah, I've also got to... Yeah, that's right, yeah. I've also got to put the 1x1s on there to save the lean. But I might see if I can put them in a different spot, like, say, under here, where I'm pointing at the moment. That might be an option. That will also, as long as the angle that it creates is less, like as long as it sticks down below this angle between the suspension and the wheel, as long as the 1x1 sticks down, say there, it'll still protect this from hitting the ground. Like, would it be any good doing something over the top? I think that'll look terrible at the front. Maybe at the back could work. If instead of coming off the side, do something coming down like that, which will also have to grip onto the sides of the suspension, because as I said before, there's no suspension, there's no attachment point on the tops of the 5x5s. Not sure I like the idea of the overarching over the top look. Let's get rid of these just so I can get a better appreciation of it. Maybe, actually. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be struggling with until Saturday, when I try and put this whole thing together again and see if I can get it actually working. Is trying to figure out how on earth I am going to take this thing and make it look any good. Like, what? I'm so struggling for making this thing look good. Oh. And it's not like some of my oh yeah, and Codon, you're right. 90-degree rotated wheels will not steer, nor, well, they'll steer really strangely. You'll kind of end up on the sides of the wheels. But you also won't get suspension travel. Now, 3x3s have a different problem, DE. 3x3s have the problem of they don't line up with a 3-block wide cockpit. You can't center them on a 3 wide cockpit. You would need to have a 4-block wide cockpit or a 2-block wide. Thanks for that tip, Eisen. Survival does not have to equal look good. Unless you're a streamer / content creator. Grr. Yeah, Tex, it does. It's really wide. But that's the limitation of the vanilla blocks. Oh, that's right. Let me just do something while I remember it. See if I can do something that I'm not supposed to be able to do. The trike is the backup plan. I'm pretty sure the DLC cockpit is also 3x3. If we're talking the control seat. Yeah. They're all 3 blocks wide, so that it doesn't help us, unfortunately. See if that's close enough. Oh. Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you, Build Vision. Okay. Now the really big question, how on earth do you do that in survival? Yes, Jim, I had the same thought as you. How do you pull that off in survival? Oh, I'd need a crane to rotate the vehicle around to get it in the right spot so that it can attach. Oh. I don't know that I actually want to make use of this in survival. There's one very big reason why not. What happens when the wheels pop? When the wheels pop, I'm only going to have 3x3s that'll paste in. Yeah. Growlclaw, you can, if you've got the Build Vision mod. You can do that attach. Because that's... Well, it copy pastes. Tex, I tested out some wheels on rotors and they all went boom at fairly low speed, which was disappointing. I think I've got a trike. Here we go. Here we go. Here's a tricycle I've prepared earlier. So this thing has 2 rotors at the front, mounting these 3x3 wheels. We've got 5x5s at the rear to give it a bit of a boosted kind of look. So it works pretty well, this one, until that happens. And then it goes horribly wrong. So I won't be doing any rotor wheels because they don't have the survivability. Yeah, the overhead attachment is probably going to work for the rear on here. I suppose I may as well just start trying a few things. Test if it works with a projector. Sure, I can test if it works with a projector. I need a projector. I need a way to control this so I can name it. 5x5 on 3x3. Okay. Control B. Nope, that was the wrong thing. There we go. There you go. It does not work. Because the wheels don't project, because they're a subgrid, they just get added when you construct the suspension. Let's just prove that to ourselves properly. See, 3x3 wheel, not the 5x5. The motorbike goal is for a couple of things. One, I thought it might have been a cheaper way to go about things because you can get away with just fewer suspensions, but ultimately it doesn't really save you that much, so you may as well go with a Rover. And then it came down to, I want to do it because it's different, and I want to do it because it's a bit of fun. I suppose it's a little bit of reaching that point in Space Engineers where it's like, I want to do the different thing because it's different, not for any particular other reason. Don't know that I want this 3 wide, to be honest. I think it's too much. I think I may just make it a single. Yeah, Joko, I think I'm going to need a fair bit of luck with this. I suspect what I'm going to do is mess around with a few things and see where it goes, but at least I've tested most of the functional stuff and come to a conclusion that this sort of layout is what I want, I think. I think this is going to be the most functional way to build a motorbike. I don't feel like there's a better alternative that I'm missing now. Whereas before I was kind of worried that I was missing something and it would hit me in the face like a ton of bricks and I'd be feeling like a fool once I realized. Elsewhere, looks. Looks is the reason I'm not lowering the front to match the back. Yeah, that's true. This little flat area would be suitable for a connector. See ya, Joko. Thanks for the tips so far. Yeah. So this is the problem. Everything ends up being square as soon as you have to do these things. Grr. And then I end up hating what it looks like because it's all square. Hey, Eels. I feel like I might need to leave this for a while now. it's not happening. I don't really want those blocks that low down because as soon as I do that, they're going to get in the way. Why? Why can't I just have a way to do this that I like? And then I can't steer with it either. So, well, I could lay it sideways. So, I'm presuming what you're meaning is this. Instead of having it mounted that way, you mount it that way. I wouldn't have any steer then, but I suppose that wouldn't be the worst thing for the rear. Let's have a look. I wasn't... When XSFX was suggesting this earlier, and I'm not sure it's gonna really do what I want it to do. Or let me even place the wheel because it's too high, and that means I'd have to drop it a whole block lower. Yeah. Yeah, the rear doesn't need the steering, but to mount the wheel at the height I want, I would need to drop the whole suspension another block lower, which doesn't help my situation one bit. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what XSFX was going for as well. It'd just make it all be a bit tighter, but it won't actually do that. You lose the suspension travel, you lose the steer, and you end up having to have the whole thing a block lower, which won't make the whole design any tighter, unfortunately. You can put a 5x5 on a 1x1. I've got one over here. Well, it's a 3x3, but same deal. The 1x1s and 3x3s are the same size. But doing so in survival will be nearly impossible, and replacing when I'm in trouble, as DE just said, be near impossible. So I'm not keen to do that for survival. I might do that as a just a fun build, but that would not be a survival build. Elsewhere, the problem in survival I'm trying to address is how can I make a motorbike that works in survival and looks good? That's it. There's no survival problem here. This is a problem entirely of my own creation. And that's, I think, part of the issue. If this was an actual problem, I could probably come up with a solution I was happy with. What did I do with the thing on the other one like that when I was making that shape? Where are you? Oh, don't tell me I let that one just blow up and I don't have a copy somewhere here. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, it's an extra block wide. Yeah, they do need a spring block. They need a piston that acts as a suspension, because then you could do all sorts of cool stuff. But no, I think hoping for such a thing is a fool's errand. I don't think you're going to get one. Yeah, the 5x5 block is just so big, it creates a nightmare of design for something like this. Yeah, Nosferatu, I know I could use that mod, but I don't want to. I tend to, when I start a series, mostly stick with the mods that I've got, because otherwise you get to that point with survival where it's like, oh, I've got a problem, why don't I just use a mod to fix it? Rather than actually coming up with creative solutions, and I don't want to fall into that trap. That's why I usually don't add mods after I start. Specific things are obvious exceptions. Survival Unlikely is an absolute exception because there's heaps of funny stuff that I'll add there because it's a less serious kind of survival experience. Guardstar, the wheels on free spinning rotors just go boom. They don't have the resistance to stand up to any sort of aggressive driving. So that's not an option either. And this is meant to be an escape vehicle. It's meant to be a vehicle I can quickly jump into and drive away from the oncoming assertive cargo ships. Yeah, so, yes, a rocket to space to escape might work until you realize that Survival Impossible has the Reavers. It's had the Reavers the whole time. I don't think space is the place I'm going to hide out from them. It's chunky, but it's kind of the closest I've come to a look that I'm even remotely happy with. Yeah, Dashi, I know it does look like saddlebags. I just wish I could get this angle here to start a bit further forward. What if I... do this. Kind of step it Is that going to look worse or better? I think that's worse. Yeah, Elswin, the biggest problem was smashing the suspensions onto the ground. The suspensions kept clipping with the ground, so the plan to solve that is using 1x1 wheel suspensions with 0 friction. So once I place them in, so basically for this thing, that would probably be somewhere like here? That work? No. Somewhere like that. That then becomes a perfect blocker for that damage. And works quite well at it, actually. I wonder if, instead of starting that shape there, if I start it further forward, whether it's going to work better. Oops. No. Keep doing that. Oh, wait. Yeah, if I start it further forward and instead of having it come... instead of having the line come down like this and then have to go straight out, if I come forward and then go back, it's going to look better, I think. Else, that's not a stupid question to ask. Why am I building on Earth-like? The reason I'm building on Earth-like is Omicron, even with the vanilla jetpack, is painful to fly around on. And it would just make the whole build process slower. So the idea is to build something here and then I can test the final design on Omicron and make sure that it does actually work. So yeah, not a dumb question at all, but it's just a nature of Omicron that it's just... it's nasty even to the vanilla jetpack. There we go. And then if I do this from here, I think that's going to look better than doing it in front. Yeah, Elswin, I do use the subgrid wheel control script quite a lot. Because I like having stuff on trailers, and I like my trailers to actually work. Does that look better? I think that does look a bit better. If I put some kind of side skirts sort of shape along here. Oops. Then at least it carries the thickness a bit through when you're looking at it from above. That could work. I don't think I'm going to go a turret on this, largely because turrets are huge. Like, a small grid turret, even on this, it's going to be... yeah. I don't think it's going to work. Like, I did manage to get it to look okay on... where'd that thing go? Is that it? No. On that tricycle. This one. But you end up with that kind of look at the back to try and make it fit in. Would I end up with a bike trailer in Survival Impossible? Potentially, if I need a way to carry it because I've crashed it. Two rear wheels angled out with rotors. The double rear wheel design's something that I can easily make and works quite well. I've got one somewhere here. That thing doesn't work at all. This one. This works really quite well. And is a backup plan if I can't get the whole thing to work. Actually, you know what? Let me just quickly do something. Do. Don't you start making noise, Twitch. You're really annoying when you do that to me. So, we got a few people in chat right now. Just a quick show of hands. Who reckons I should build this in Survival Impossible to drive around in because it works? And I could probably make it fairly easily styled to something interesting. Or shall I continue my struggles and see if I can get this thing looking good, which is a more genuine motorbike? So option 1 is the trike. And option 2 is the bike. Or actually, yeah, struggle is the bike and lazy is the trike. Struggle for 10 more minutes. Struggle. It's probably about... I'd say that's kind of like 2/3 or 3/4 want to see me struggle. Scythe wants me to struggle until I realize then inevitable laziness. Code on, we didn't come here for any easy. What would Capac do? Capac would have complained and left already. Alright, I will continue my struggles of seeing if I can get this to work for now. Cool. Just wanted to see whether I was driving you all insane trying to figure this out. Gonna have to decide where I make this square. See ya, Tex. I hope your shift's quiet tomorrow. Or at least, not disastrous. Okay, I think if I go... I've also got to remember that there are ways I can break up this armor later with things like, as you all were mentioning earlier, lights and other little blocks like that that I can use to put some little details in to make it so it's not just a giant armor blob. Oops. So this is Rorthic's 3x3 one. I can see how that works. I do like the big fat 5x5s. And I'd still be struggling with the armor design with the 3x3s anyway, I suspect. Cap squiggles. The reason I haven't done double wheels is double wheels, they give me an even number across, and then that won't match with the cockpit, and it becomes a nightmare for all sorts of things. So that's why I haven't done that way. Really gotta get used to scrolling the mouse wheel the correct way. One would think at this point I'd have already developed the habit. Yeah, armor serves two functions. The main function being I need to make sure that the wheels don't pop off. But the other thing is you kind of can't do armor in Space Engineers with any sort of interesting shape without using a lot of it. It's just the nature of the beast. Right, I am going to pop that off and see if I can get this to work without dropping the wheel off. Maybe in here. Okay, so Jin, just did a little trial of the wheel loading chute idea. It helps to have a little track that picks up one of the bumper wheels and helps align the bike. And then if you detach at the top of the run, it rolls down, ready to attach the small suspension. Yeah. So if I did end up using the 3x3 wheels on... sorry, 5x5 wheels on 3x3 suspensions, I would absolutely have to figure out a way, well, make sure that I can drive home on 3x3s. Because if I can't drive home on 3x3s, I'm in trouble. Oh, I keep removing the one I don't want to. Maybe I'll go that instead. It still looks awful, doesn't it? Wait a second. I think this is going to come together in a moment. Once I finish fiddling with shapes. Battles the Crab, the 1x1 is to prevent this suspension from hitting the ground. The big suspension from hitting the ground. And if it's not high, if it's too high, I can always just change the offset and that'll protect things more. So I can choose its position that way. I think that might work. think I was starting too high. I can probably shrink this a little... Oh no, I can't really. That needs to be chunky. Because it's protecting the one by... It's like covering up the one by one. Now this is doing the thing that I usually try and avoid doing, which is covering up the detail blocks. Surprisingly, the one by one is really, really, really strong. And it doesn't really break. Which is bizarre, I know, but that's just the way that the wheels work. I really hope there are other attachments when I remove this here. Oops. Okay, how's that? I don't immediately hate this design. I think with some different paint... Yeah, good point. Time to take a blueprint. There we go. Yeah, I could add some little bits of detail in here with a cargo container or something like that as a saddlebag. That's not a bad thought. I'm actually... Yeah, I'm not hating this design. I need to clean up underneath, but from above... Whoops. In fact, let's have a look. You mentioned all black carbon fiber. Let's see. I kind of like the roughness of the dirt black sort of rusty look, to be honest. Yeah, that does not look better. Right, I need to clean up this underneath and then put that one by one back in. And then I'm going to have to figure out how on earth I'm going to make this in Survival Impossible if I do choose to go this design. Because... do I build a projector? Do I print it? Do I try and build something new that's very similar? I don't know. Oh yeah, we'll be putting an ore detector on this, that's right. Thanks for the reminder. I figure I may as well have one since there's a decent chance this thing will end up going places that other vehicles haven't yet. Then we can continue. So what do you guys reckon? It's chunky, but I think it was always going to have to be. But I think with the right paint job... yeah. Oh yeah, hide a vent underneath. Whoops. Wrong bit. Agreed, the center looks too narrow for it. I will see what I can do to fix that. Oh, it's right there. You could put a vent under there. The other option would be to put the vent at the front here. Yes, 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 yes. Can you guys remind me, please, towards the end of this stream, if I have a design that's even half-baked decent, to, as part of the stream, post it on the workshop so that it's there immediately if anyone wants to play around with it. Now, what to do with the front wheel? Do I go with the same sort of design, or do I do something different? Let's get rid of these bits because they're not needed anymore. Not exactly sure what you mean, Squiggles. By make a basic jack lift off the base one piston and a landing gear so you can lift the motorbike. Oh, right, yeah, I do need a base. Sorry, I had to read that slowly till I could follow what you said. I kind of half glanced at it. Yeah, I probably will need to make a basic lifting vehicle at some point. Lifting thing. I mean, I definitely will need to make a lifting thing at some point. I'm just not 100% sure how I'm going to approach that yet. I'm thinking this might be the way to go, but I might have just put this too far forward. So it'll either be a half slab like that or a vent that'll go in the middle there. Then what I'm thinking is kind of makes it a bit snub-nosed there, but I don't know that I want to move the... Maybe I have to move the wheel another block forward. Yeah, yeah, that's... When I do this rebuild in Survival Impulse, that's probably the way to go, is just to build a cheap small grid piston, stick it to the ground with a landing gear and lift myself off the ground, then I can continue to build and have a nice stable platform. I think I might need to move this wheel one block forward. Just to give myself that little bit of extra space there. No, the oxygen-hydrogen generator does not store oxygen. But I'm on a snowy plateau, so I don't need to strictly store any. This is the bit I always hate about this cockpit, is how do you make that bit look any good? It always ends up looking snubbed. What the... What are you doing to me, game? That didn't make any sense. Don't know that a mudguard look will work here because it'll end up having to go actually up. Let's get this wheel attachment sorted. That's what I want to do. Hey Timmy, just trying to fix the motorbike because I can't seem to make a motorbike. Gab Galileo, the reason I've left the wheel at the current height is that once this thing drops off, I quite like the angle that everything sits at. With the front wheel being higher than the rear. It ends up kind of with a sleek, forward-leaning posture, which I quite like. Yeah, Codon, I know. I had to stop mid-run away to get ice. But that was because I hadn't had enough on me. Wasn't strictly because of the setup. If I had a vent on, it wouldn't have been an issue. Having a vent onto the cockpit means I wouldn't need to worry about having any ice or any O2 storage because I'd be pulling in enough from the outside. Hey, I don't think I end up with a worse design. I think this is much better. I don't think that's fair. Let's try... That's not what I wanted. How can I do this? I don't think I can. Dang it. What I wanted to do was have these here, but I don't think there's a proper transition block. There isn't. I think the best to do is these. Yeah, that works. I think that looks better than having just the pointy edge. Also, should you watch Survival Impossible before watching this? I don't think you miss out on anything. I don't think you necessarily have a worse experience seeing this. I don't know. Does anyone else have a differing opinion on that? I'm not one to worry too much about spoilers and such, so maybe I'm not the right person to ask. Actually, I think what I'll do is this. Oh good, it is placing it on that side. Yeah, this is Greeble Fest to the extreme. We even had Textfire in the chat briefly to really fit the Greeble theme. Oh boy. But I think I'm getting closer to a design that I would actually bring into Survival Impossible now. Now, what am I going to do across here? Maybe I could do the same thing. No. Let's just do the obvious first, and then work out what I can do to make it look better. Okay. Take you off. And turn mirror off. Oh wait, I do want to go with right there, don't I? The tread should be that way, but oh well, whatever. It is what it is. Let's place all these in and then we'll figure out where the 1x1s are going to sit back in. And then I can do any last little bits, because I think this is pretty close to just getting a bit of a paint job. You're very welcome, Battles the Crab. I am glad that so many people have found those tutorials helpful. Hey, Mackle. Thanks so much, man. You are too kind, mate. Too kind. Right. It's crab-like. Guess we'll have to see what once it's on the ground. So let's copy this whole thing again. Then I'm dropping it off. We'll see how it handles. And drop. And I need some gyros. And I forgot to put the 1x1 wheels on before I dropped it off. That wasn't smart. Was it there-ish? Does that work? That doesn't stick out far enough, does it? Rats. That sticks out too far though, doesn't it? I would need to do... Is that better or worse? I don't think that's right at all. Where on earth did I have these before? Wow. Mackerel, that is epic that you have gifted that many subs on Wasted's channel. That is absolutely crazy. 999 gift subs. You are incredibly generous, man. Where on earth do I stick these 1x1s so that they protect like I intend them to? Stick it on the rear? I wonder if I even need to have them at the front or if I can just have them at the back only. Oh, judging by that, I probably want them at both. I'm just going to drive this thing around for a little bit. while I think about where on earth I can put these things. Whoops. Whoops. Bionic, you might be right. Chakalaka, that's exactly why this thing has the rusted thing, because I am always the 2 seconds driving and I've scratched it already. Also, I'm not liking the time of day right now. That's better. Can do a wheelie, can do a stoppie, can do a dance. Yeah, you can sort of change the wheel displacement. You can change the height offset. That's how you do that. Let's just do another fresh one. I do need to figure out where on earth I'm going to sneak those little wheels in, though. The trouble with having blocks to take the damage, Chakalaka, is that then causes problems with the terrain. You dig massive divots, things explode, you get deformations. It doesn't end well. You definitely want to have the wheel suspensions because they don't take damage until you properly overload them. Is it enough there? It's kind of too much there. Yeah, that's not... Oh, crud. Dang it. Timber! That's not what I wanted. The reason I can't add just the wheel, Mackle, is you need the wheel suspension to make it really work. Because you can't control friction on wheels. They're basically, when you use a standard wheel block like one of these, it's really just a round piece of armor. It's nothing more special than that. So it doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't really work. I think I really do want it there, but that's not where I was putting it before. Yeah, lots of people use these wheels as bumpers, but from all of my testing, they are literally just armor. There's no advantage whatsoever, even though it looks like rubber. If you're using it because you want the wheel aesthetic, sure. But if you think this is going to give you better protection than this, it's not. From all of my impact testing that I've ever done, it just doesn't work that way. So if you want to have the best impact protection, use a wheel and suspension, and that's just the way it is. Because these wheels, the ones with the little peg on them, are actually completely different to the wheels that you place like this. They're a completely different block, and they've got some special magic that makes them more or less, well, that makes them harder to destroy. Yeah, as in, you're better off with a blast door block than a wheel. Alrighty. I will be back in just a moment. Sorry, guys. Interlude music. What can I use as interlude music while I step out for a second? I know. Just Luke Kavak saying ow. I mean, I could put this up and at least give you a couple of minutes of this.
The loss of the RX-394 is catastrophic. Unexplained is not acceptable. I need answers. We need boots on the ground.
Oh, did you start some kind of reactor meltdown?
I'm sure whatever that was entirely unimportant and unrelated.
I can feel you inside me.
Who is Steve?
Doppelganger, charlatan, trickster, impostonator!
We finally find something that could answer some questions, and you blow it up.
So, we're supposed to put some topical improv moments that aren't actually in the show here.
That's a little disingenuous, isn't it?
How else are we going to sucker people into the theatres?
We're on YouTube. Nobody's watching us in a theatre.
Should we say something about Trump?
Nope.
You have not been cleared for departure.
Sorry about that. That was actually the perfect length of time that I needed to do what I wanted to do. That I needed to mute myself for. Right. I just got to pick a spot for these wheels and go with it. I am faffing around way too much. Trying to decide. Yeah, Eisen, it wasn't a bio break. That's why I didn't say bio break. I wouldn't lie to you. Had to quickly make a phone call. Let's see if this will be enough. Where's my friction? Propulsion off. And then... Oh yeah, and if anyone's unfamiliar with what the heck I just used to fill in that brake, that's a Machinima series that Capac and I are still working on. And we'll hopefully be getting some new episodes out for this year. Right, let's copy this thing. Did I place those at the same position? Can't actually tell. See ya, Dragnon. Eisen, I am so glad I've never had to use that excuse. The idea of saying my wheels fell off is terrifying as someone who has ridden a motorbike for a few years. Pretty much the whole time I was at uni. Here we go. Let's see how easy it's going to be to smack the front end down with just rear skid wheels. Just rear training wheels. Yeah, Jackson, I was that guy. Oh, okay. There we go. Fail. Needs all four. I took a copy instead of a blueprint. It's fractionally slimmer than a 4-wheel 5x5 wheel car. But it's style. Style points count. I always think for the front that doing this is the way to go. Going simple and just making it. Ah, yeah, Sajin. My first bike was brought kindly for me back from another city. What? No. By one of my friends who managed to hit a rather large piece of timber that was in the middle of the road, which deformed the front wheel, and he fortunately did not get injured. Why can't you place the wheel? What? Did I place a 3x3 again? I placed a 3x3 again, didn't I? So yeah, he ended up giving it to me not as he picked it up, but with a bit more damage. Let's see how this looks. It's not ideal. Might need something on it, even if it's just like this. Just because it has no attachment like no visible attachment. In fact, I don't hate that. Oh yeah, headlights. Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to, you could also put a couple of extras on. Headlights, you mean Gatlings. I don't think this thing's going to be nimble enough to put a Gatling gun on it and actually make use of it. The twin stick shooter surprisingly did work that way, but I don't think this will. Alright, Mackle. Okay, let's have a look. Discord. So that's an interesting approach. Just having the skids on one side and just, yeah, that if you just leant into it and just four-wheel it that way. Or, oh, so Maka, you're proposing that as a roll way of doing things. Uh-huh. Not those? What didn't you say? Community? Yeah. I thought it was both. Ah, what is the Discord link? Invite people. Edit invite link. Expire after never. Like no human. Generate. Copy. One Discord link. That's a pretty good description, Sajin. A Minmatar take on a bike. Yep. See ya, Eels. Eels? Else? 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 Never know. It's eels, I think, because the like Aesops. So we've got lights. We'll probably, since I am using the high-powered spotlights, need to have some like situational lights, so some interior lights as well. Because they don't give you any of that surrounding light anymore. Else. Thanks. Just for the sake of getting this thing looking mostly complete, because I don't have much longer I can keep going today. Let's just get this workshop-ish ready. Vent. I need a vent. Let's do this. I think this could work. That is not an attachment point on the engine. Good to know. Then I was imagining the vent like a bit of a exhaust coming out the back with the arrangement like that. However, I also think that perhaps just to add extra control and to upset Eisen. I can put a couple of extra gyros in. Just because the roll, like that's me rolling as hard as I can. Oh yeah, ore detector as well. Maybe I won't put the gyros there like that then. Got a better idea. Ore detector. Don't tempt me, Eisen. I might well build something out of gyros. If you're wondering why I'm giving Eisen a bit of grief, it's because earlier today he was talking about how I do have a bit of a thing for making my vehicles able to gyro steer. Does that look better or worse? That looks worse. I don't think I'll put a beacon on. I don't feel like I necessarily need one. I do need more gyro though. Just so I can roll and lean as I want to. So I might do this. Yeah. Yeah, I could stick a beacon underneath if I wanted. Don't think I will though. I think this just needs a bit of paint now. And since we're going for survival impossible here, means we're going to need some rusty white. Whoops. Actually, check that. We're going to need Digi's paint mod. Ah. I'll take a look at it, Ninja Manda. Yeah, Seronos, don't worry about that. No one's going to notice that the gyros aren't aligned. At least if I don't mention it. Yep. Doxer, you are exactly correct. Paint. Parachute. Do I need a parachute? I don't think so. If I end up needing a parachute, I'm dead anyway, because the thing with this is I should be running away from an enemy, and if I'm already at the point of needing a parachute, I'm probably going to die. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Rusty. Oops. Does that kind of work? Or does it just look weird? Kind of just looks weird. That's a fair point, alright. Yeah, I might need to jump off a cliff to escape, you're right. Fair point. Fair point. I'm not going to do it, but it is a fair point. Mainly because I have no idea where I would put them such that I could still access their inventories. Because I'm not going to pipe them. And I would need to have a way to access their inventories to put the chute canvas in. Yeah, Mackerel, it is unfortunate you can't do blending. Blending would probably change things up quite a bit. What can I do? Let's try this. Yeah, you could add some thrusters to this. I'm not sure I don't think I will, but that's certainly an option. Let me get in. Can I get into that with this? Oh, I don't think I can. That's annoying. That's even more annoying. So I didn't remember that that was the attachment point. Yeah, it's given the red bike some white dusting. It's a pity you can't really... Oh, hold up. What if I... If I'm going to project this, what if I do the cheeky thing that Keen does? No. No, let me paint the thing. There we go. Do. Does that work well enough? Kinda does. Demonworks, I think so. I think the 1x1 is offset enough to give me what I need. No, that's just to try and continue the red a bit further. I'm hopefully not going to land on my head too often. I don't feel like I should do too much more to this. Yeah, you definitely could do that. You could. That's why I oriented them the way that I did, so that if you did need more, you could stick them out further, and they'd hopefully do more to protect you. What I'm talking about is the 1x1 wheels here, which I need to paint because I don't want them in grey. Yeah, what if I did do the underside and a bit of something different? No, not that colour. That's not right with the rusty. Yeah, that kind of works. Yes, mismatch paint. It's like those cars that... Hey, what are you doing to me? Well, my ore detector's working. Apparently I'm on iron. Nope. What did I just paint that I didn't want to? Painted something that I didn't want to. Battery. Cool. Alright. Less is more. I need to stop. Now, I need to stop painting because I'm going to make it worse if I keep adding more. Let's just do a couple of simple things for handbrake on and off. Just in case someone wants it, toggle override on and off. And then it'll be for all of those 1x1s. Slide wheels. Then I'll just call these drive wheels, even though they're not all. Then I should, with the groups, be able to have the slide wheels have increase height offset and decrease height offset. So if you want to change things around, you can move the wheels further out for a bit of a safer ride if you're going over worse terrain. But if you want to have more lean, you can bring them in. Maybe I'll leave them just at a fairly neutral position. Sweet! Alright. Names. Anyone got something appropriately silly? The Krusty Krab. Yep. I figured I'd get that one. So it's going to need a name when we put it on the workshop in a moment. Check it out. Yeah, it could be the redback actually. It does have a bit of the spider feel to it. The sherbet splash. I need to find some slightly rougher terrain to test this on. Yeah, pretty much is time to try it in higher gravity, I guess. In fact, that's a good idea for finding some better terrain to test it on. Oops. Fate. Omicron. Oops. Didn't want to do that. Did not make it big enough. Okay, here we go. Well, doesn't this look familiar? Whoa! A little further out, maybe? I'd like to believe I wouldn't try and drive quite this quickly. Wait. I have set the friction on those slide wheels to 0 on all of them, haven't I? There we go. It's doing alright, I think. I mean, driving at 50 meters a second in a four-wheeled vehicle, I'm definitely going to end up crashing as much as I've crashed this so far. So it almost feels like it's got some... Oh. Yep, all of the trees. I just increased the strength of the slide wheels. They were set to weak, so they weren't actually doing anything as much as they should. Oh geez, 96 meters a second. I'm gonna pop a wheel. Whoa! Oh dear. Tree! Oh no, if I've got to save the lumberjack. I've got to save the lumberjack as a name for something else, although I am now quite tempted. Oh! Oh yeah, steering off on the rear wheel would make some sense. Remind me when I do the blueprint version to do this, because I'm going to have to fix this one up. I think it's going to work a bit better if I have steering. Yeah, that's much better. The handling feels so much better without steering on that rear wheel. George of the Jungle. Quite like that. So, those of you wanting me to make it to a four-wheeled vehicle or a trike, there's no way it would have put up with the punishment I've given this thing so far. So there's that. I should probably set those 1x1s to have max strength. Oh, tree. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's not good. That's... There we go. We're fine. It's all fine here. Alright, I'm thinking... I'm gonna have to name something George now. But I'm thinking Redback's the way I'm gonna go with the name. Yeah, Mackle. I am the tree killer. I am the lumberjack. Just call me Bunyan. Whee! Oh, I think I blew off both my spotlights at some point. really proud of how this thing's turned out. It's not as good looking as I'd always hoped I'd be able to do, but I'm not disappointed in it anymore. Oh yeah. Oh, it looks heaps better than the one in survival. It functions heaps better too. The absconder. Ooh. Yeah. I like that. It's the absconder. Done. Done like a dinner. Alright, I have to set this thing up before I publish it. And, of course, the screenshots have to be taken on Omicron. Now, let's hop into the cockpit. Let's set up the name. Okay, control panel, slide wheels, strength. Probably don't want 100%. I think there are some issues you run into with that. I want to max the height offset. Friction is still 0, just make sure they all are. Drive wheels need to have power, max. Speed limit, probably go for 250. And I need to make the rear wheel not steer. Steering is off. And I need to also, because this is for Omicron, increase the strength to 40%. Sweet. Oh yeah, I'm super happy with this. Now, I need some sexy screenshots for it. That means, have I made this offline mode? Yes, good. Oh, stop before I crash it. Let's just do a quick blueprint. There we go. Now, photobomb. Now we go and I try and get some air. Oh yeah. Maybe not on the snow now that I look at it. I think I might need to be on green ground. Also, depth of field. A little too much. Yeah, I think this is not the right spot. Oh! That did not go well. Mackle, that is Ansel, and you have it because I know you have an NVIDIA graphics card. I know you have 2 NVIDIA graphics cards. So that is Ansel. You get to Ansel by Alt F2 when you're in game. Actually, you know what? I think the snow is the way to go, but I need trees. What? Wheelies are a mistake. Whoops. Yeah, I do need a cliff somewhere. I just need a standard shot, I suppose, first. That's what I should aim for. Flip, roll. Roll over. Nope. Fine. Stay that way then. Yeah, that's more like it. That's the angle I'm looking for. Capac decoy for scale. I should probably... Oh, no, I won't do that. I was just about to say I could probably do this in the actual save for Survival Impossible, or the thumbnail saves that I've got. There we go. Hide the HUD. Just make sure I have got this arranged as I would want for the thumb. Sparrow in the backyard shooting at you. Yep. Alright, let's get some action shots. Time to climb a mountain. Ooh. Tree. Just thinking I should have taken a shot while the tree was sitting on top of it. Oh, it's great. Get past. Yeah, it's Alt F2 is the key for it, Mackle. The key combo you need to press to bring it up. You also have to have GeForce Experience installed, I think. So if you've just installed the drivers only, then you won't be able to access it. And I think you also need to be logged in, annoyingly. So it's another data collection thing they do. Oh yeah, these are the sort of sexy shots rather than the showing off what it actually looks like. And I imagine for this, for the most part, people would see where this came from. Whoops. Now that, a normal rover I would struggle to get to do. Whoa! Okay, that'll do for a jump shot. Or not. Might just broaden the depth of field so it's not so narrow. No, wrong one. That one. Just trying to... Oh, hang on. I can do this. That'll get it set against the right backdrop. There we go. That gives us a decent view of the bike from this angle. If I increase the HDR toning a bit, that'll bring some of the detail out of the rear. Cut down on bloom and snap. Where is the shadow? It's back there. Now, can I blow the back just a little bit? Snap. All right, that'll do for now, I think. As I destroy it. Come on, Eisen, as if you don't love this magic flying gyro bike. Oh. Okay, I won't go quite that fast in Survival Impossible, methinks. Cool. Well, I will post this to the workshop shortly. I don't think you guys need to watch me fiddle around, unless you want to, in Photoshop. But no, I don't think we will. I think I'll just quickly do that, put that together, and I will post this very, very shortly. There are a few things coming this week. First off, there's a mini tutorial tonight. That's just something quick that Rahman informed me of recently that I thought was handy for a few more people to know, because if I didn't know it, I assume others might not. And then I will hopefully be getting Survival Unlikely on Wednesday, the Grand Tour stuff soon. I'm not sure which day, just whichever day I get it done, really. I'm not going to pick a day for that. I'm just going to get it out as I get the videos edited. And then Saturday back with more Survival Impossible. So there's all that, and plenty more to come. And I will hopefully see all you guys then. See you, everyone.